Hey, what's up, food chemistry class? It is Monday, and I'm going to be making banana bread from this cookbook my mom gave me. It calls for half a cup of shortening, a cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 3/4 of a cup of mashed ripe banana, some flour, 1 1/4 cups, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. I'm actually going to add vanilla because I think it'll taste good. So yeah. In my big mixing bowl, I have 1 cup of sugar and half a cup of shortening. I've also preheated my oven to 350 degrees, so it's nice and hot by the time this puppy goes in the oven. Okay, I have thoroughly creamed the shortening and the sugar until fluffy, or at least fluffy enough. Next, I'm going to add 2 eggs, and it says 3/4 cup of mashed ripe banana, but I'm just gonna use 2, maybe 3 bananas and eyeball it because I don't feel like having leftover mashed banana. Alrighty, here it is pre-mixing. I'm also gonna add my vanilla in now because it's a liquid, and using this recipe, you add dry to wet. So let's get mixing. Before I turn this thing on, I'm just kind of squishing up the banana. Partially because I want to, and it looks kind of gross right now, which is pretty cool. But also because I don't want to turn it on and have massive chunks of banana fly up at me. So, look at that. If this doesn't make you hungry, I don't know what will. This is what my delicious slurry looks like right now. Almost good enough to drink as is. But next we're going to add in our dry ingredients, which are flour, baking soda, and salt. And it says to sift it in, and I'm sure that would definitely do something, but I don't have a sifter, so I'm just going to add it in and get it going. I lied. What I'm actually going to do first is spray this. So as soon as I add my dry ingredients, and the reaction starts happening and bubbles start forming, I can just pour it in here, throw it in the oven to reach that maximum poof that I want, because I don't want a dirty old dry, pancakey banana bread. I want it to be nice and fluffy for my buds. Okay. Alrighty, dry ingredients are in. I put the flour down first, and then salt, and then baking soda on top of the flour to ensure that the liquids don't touch the solids until I'm absolutely ready for them to. Now is the time you've all been waiting for, the pour into our bread pan. Plop. This batter smells very good, looks very good, nice and creamy, well blended. No big lumps of banana. I'm surprised the banana hasn't turned brown in the batter, because sometimes it does that. But also, this is a recipe I haven't used before, so maybe it's a shortening, maybe it's, my bananas were pretty on the other side of their lives, but maybe I've just used more rotten bananas before, I don't know. Clean bowl, don't forget the sides. Now I'm just smoothing it out so that it cooks evenly. Tastes good. All right. Yikes! Sorry about that, folks. Okay, into the oven she goes. I'm putting it in vertically because I feel like it. And now that's gonna bake for 30 minutes. Okie dokie, so I have about 10 minutes left on the allotted time for the banana bread, and it smells delicious. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to go back through the recipe and talk about it a little bit. So first things first, when I've made banana bread in the past, I've used butter, not shortening. So knowing what we know about shortening, I expect this to be a much lighter consistency than butter, because as we know, shortening affects the ability for flour to have its proteins interact. So hopefully it's fluffier, hopefully the crumb is a little bit lighter. Next, I didn't measure any of the bananas. I just put 3 in because I have 4 rotten bananas, and after I'm done filming this, I'm probably gonna eat the last rotten banana. So that affects the moisture level that's going to be in the batter. And in that fashion, I also didn't measure the flour as closely because I wanted to accommodate for the extra moisture from the inaccurate amount of banana. And in the end, the batter looks very familiar. I've made banana bread a billion times before and it looks exactly the same. So hopefully it turns out the same, but who knows? So the oven is set to 350, which is pretty normal. However, this old recipe asks for it to be poured into a 9x9 by 2 inch like brownie pan. But instead, I like to make mine in the standard like bread loaf pan. So that is probably going to affect cooking time, and I hope it doesn't affect the overall quality. What I could imagine, unfortunately, is without the extra surface area on the top that you would get from a 9x9, it might be a little soggier and it might take longer to cook. So right now I have it in for the minimum time, which is 30 minutes, and I already know that's not going to be enough. So if it gets too brown on top, I'm probably going to put some foil on top so that it doesn't brown as quickly. But I'm periodically just going to check on it, use a knife or something to see if it's still doughy, and just see how long it takes to actually cook all the way through. Fingers crossed it cooks all the way through. Here is the final banana bread. It ended up taking closer to like 45 to 50 minutes for it to get to this point where I could stab it with a knife and no batter would come out. But it smells great, it looks great, it doesn't look too dark. I'm very pleased. The recipe doesn't say how long to let it rest. So what I usually do is I wait about 15 minutes and then I dump it out because I don't want it to cool completely in the pan because I feel like it traps a lot of the moisture and steam that gives banana bread that kind of yucky, like really dense, rubbery texture. So I like to let it cool down enough to shrink up so it releases itself from the sides a little bit, and then cool the rest of the way on its own so that it doesn't trap extra moisture. So I will cool it and then I'll taste it. Okie dokie, here we are at my final product. I'm really pleased with the way the crumb turned out. Usually at the very bottom, just touch my butter, at the very bottom it's really dense and you can almost see a line where there isn't enough rise, and it's nice and fluffy all the way through. It smells great, it's a great color, and yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So let's give it a taste. Okay, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm going to taste my masterpiece of banana bread. And I should have spread this butter around more, but I don't really care at this point. So here we go. That shit is straight fire, dude. That shit is straight fire. I did a great job. So, this class is awesome and I love you guys. And I hope all of your recipes worked out for the week. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday. Mwah.